So welcome everyone here in the room, welcome everyone participating from home for the entire course, and welcome those of you who are going to be sharing this first evening with us. This is the first time we've ever done that, where we allow people to view the first evening of a retreat. So all the rumors are true. What we do at our retreats is we spend time doing two main things: discovering the truth of who we are and recognizing that which we're not. Except it's opposite that which most of us believe. Most of us believe that what we can touch and feel and taste and smell, that our body, our mind, the world, is what's real. And what isn't real is that sense of presence or awareness, that all of that is appearing in or on. We have it backwards. And so on all our retreats, what we do is we turn that around. Wherever you start out at the beginning of a retreat, you discover that even though you had it backwards, everything is fine, because you can't get it wrong. That beingness or isness or presence that you are has always been here. It was here 100 years before you were born, or before that body was born. It will be here 100 years after that body dies. We forget that. We think we were born. But what we are actually can't be described. But I'll do my best to point. What we are is birthless, deathless, timeless, spaceless. No beginning, no end, and no middle. And on our everyday experience, if you look into your everyday experience, you'll discover that without that sense of beingness, there is no experience. The sense of beingness is the world. The body, the mind, the world are appearing because beingness is here. Yet even beingness is transitory. There's something beyond that. And that something that's beyond really does not translate into words. And so we'll be pointing at that. But if nothing else this week, if you can become more aware of this beingness that is always here and start to notice that the body, mind, world, and beingness are one thing, then things start to change within you. All the problems that seem the worst start to dissolve. All the issues that you think you came here to let go of start to disappear all by themselves. And we do that on every retreat. Now, what's unique about this retreat is what we'll be doing over this week is we'll be showing you how you can share this with others. I don't mean just talk about it. In the past, what I've recommended you do is share your insights, your gains, your experience, and don't try to explain the method to the people, because it's hard to explain. But what I'm going to do is, to the best of my ability in this short period of time, is I'm going to take you through the process of how you can actually bring people into the experience of letting go and how you can support them in that. I'm going to show you, you'll get to peek behind the curtain. You'll get to see how this is all put together so that you'll be able to naturally start sharing this more in your life to the degree that you'd like to. In fact, I'm doing something another radical thing this evening. I'm giving everyone permission, both the people who are here tonight and the people who will end up watching from home, to actually share everything I'm saying. When in the past we've said, now please still, by the way, don't share anything personal that anyone shares in this room. Now I know no one's going to share anything personal that they don't want everyone to know about with 700 or 800 people watching. But starting tomorrow morning, those are the people who are watching who decide to join us, and those who have already committed to the week should feel free to share anything they'd like. So that still remains sacrosanct. Please don't share anybody else's story. On the other hand, everything I'm going to be sharing over the next 6 days is something that is okay for everyone in this room and everyone listening to this and watching this to share. That's very different. I want you to use everyone who's here and everyone who will participate from home, whether they realize it or not yet. Some of you don't realize that you'll be participating the whole week yet, but you may discover that by the time the week is over, the evening is over. You might say, you know, that looks like fun. I think I'll do that. What I'd like you to do is use the recordings from this to hold groups where you go through the entire thing, so that you can all begin sharing the method in your office, in your church, in your synagogue, in your mosque, in your family, with your friends, everywhere. That's why this is peer-to-peer. Everyone will be helping each other. And the cool thing about helping someone with releasing is the more you help someone with releasing, the more you benefit. One of the things that a lot of you who are sitting here and are watching already know is that when you move in the direction of helping others, no matter how much you appear to be helping others, you're always helping yourself more. And the simple reason is there are no others. You may appear to be helping others, but everything that you experience is you. Your friends are you, and your enemies are you. Even politicians are you. Even this, sorry. Even this election cycle. Maybe especially. What Lester Levinson, the man who founded the Sedona method, used to say is the leaders of every country reflect the mass consciousness of everyone in the country. So we'll know on November 8th where our mass consciousness is at. And no matter who wins the election, everyone needs to know how to let go. If you haven't noticed, this planet has gotten more and more difficult to live in. It's getting hotter in the summer and in the winter. Now, if you live in a cold climate, you're probably celebrating the warmer temperature. But, for instance, if you live in Alaska and the roads start to buckle and you can't get anywhere, it's not as much fun, even though you might have a longer warm season. And those of us who live in zones that are already temperate have noticed that the climate is changing. And that's just one thing. The election represents the acceleration in the change that's happening on the planet. And in my experience, whoever wins will move us forward. It's part of what we all need. A lot of times in our lives, things happen not the way we'd like them to happen. Have you noticed that? We have what we want, and then the world couldn't care less. And sometimes those things that we were the most upset about or most disappointed in when they were happening, are the things that have the most transformative effect on our body, minds, and our consciousness. Now, am I saying you should go look for trouble? No. Believe me, trouble already finds you. I don't advocate making things difficult for yourself just to grow. There's already too much difficulty as it is. So that's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that whatever happens in life is an opportunity for greater freedom. Whatever happens in life is an opportunity for greater freedom. That's part of the reason that Lester was able to achieve the state he achieved as quickly as he did, because he saw every down as an opportunity to go forward. He saw it as an opportunity to grow. He actually looked forward to people challenging him, because what that did is it helped him see that there was still something to let go of. So he would probably love Donald Trump, especially if he was on a one-to-one conversation with him. It'd be good releasing. So what we'll be doing, though, is, and by the way, this retreat, every time you come to a retreat, not only do you see more of the truth of who you are and discover the truth of who you're not, it's about letting go of your imaginary problems. Most of you don't realize your problems are just imagined. Now, why can I say they're imaginary problems? Because who you think you are is imagined. You think you're that person haunting that body. But both that body and that mind and your world are appearing in beingness. So whatever problem you're appearing to deal with at the moment is just the body-mind's problem. It's not yours. And yes, the body-mind has problems. It has things it has to deal with every day. I'm actually going, and my house right now is under remodel. I have a funny story about that. Years ago, someone came to when we used to have an office in Sedona, a firefighter came to the office to find out more about the Sedona. No, actually, he had been doing it for a while. But he said that the reason he decided to learn the Sedona method is after years of being a firefighter and fighting all these fires and watching even people die, it wasn't anywhere near as stressful as building his home. So he decided that he needed something to help release the stress from dealing with the people his vendors. So, but whenever you come to a retreat, and especially this week, what I'd like you to do, we're going to do many partnerships, because what we'll do is each time we do a partnership, I'll add something to your tool chest of ways of helping people release. I'll explain how it works, how to use it. Then you'll experience it with your partner. But the only way this is going to work is if you really pick issues that are important to you. This is not practicing releasing. This is real thing. You and your partner will both choose issues that are important to you. Now, you might work on the same handful of issues the whole week, or you might work on a different one each time. That's completely up to you. And by the way, those of you watching at home, make sure that you have someone you can do this with when we're doing partnerships. Just simply observing this is not going to be helpful to you. Also, those of you watching from home, you don't have to wait to invite others to participate. Since everyone is going to get a copy of this and they can start inviting people to view it and work with them with it, you can start that now. So if you have friends that you want to invite to watch this with you this week, please do. The more the merrier. I already heard of at least one person who's organized a little mini retreat in Germany. I think there are about I think he has 5 or 6 people who are going to be watching this with him. And they're all going to work with each other as the retreat unfolds. So you'll be able to work with each other here in the room, and those of you watching at home, make sure you have at least one person that you can be releasing with when we do partnerships. But when we do the partnerships, you'll have an opportunity to work on issues that really mean something to you. And you'll discover from your first-hand experience both how powerful it is to release with someone else and how powerful it is to have them ask you the releasing questions. The reason we do partnerships, at least some partnerships in every retreat, is that when you get yourself out of the way, no matter what you're dealing with, if you get yourself out of the way and you do your best to be there for the other person as best you can when you're asking them the releasing questions, it's incredibly beneficial to you, because whatever your problem is starts to dissolve already, because you're letting go of yourself. You're letting go of what you think is yourself. Again, what most of us believe is ourself is our memories, our experiences, our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, our attitudes, our ideas. But none of that belongs to you, because there is no personal you. Your thoughts you may be the only one who hears your thoughts, but they don't belong to you. They are simply sounds that are occurring in your head. That's all they are. And they're not as meaningful and as significant and as important as you think they are. And so when you release with someone else, you forget your problems. And in doing that, they start to dissolve. If we just did that, I don't mean you have to be releasing with people all the time, but if you just forgot your problems, they would all disappear. The reason that your problems persist is because you spend so much time and energy trying to understand them and fix them and change them and do something with or about them, which feeds them. Life is already taking care of itself. It really is. And the more you let go, the more you discover that from your living experience. And plus, what will happen this week and what happens in life is that when you forget what you believe is yourself and your problems, something else is already there. That something else defies description. But it is already that which is looking through those eyes. It is that which sees and hears and feels and tastes and smells. You don't actually do that. There is a changeless witness that is always right here, right now. And it actually doesn't have any senses. The body-mind has senses, but it perceives just the same without the need of any vehicle. And it's not just perceiving through that body-mind or that body-mind. It's perceiving through all beings everywhere, or all beingness everywhere, because there is only one being, and that's called the universe. That's just one being, appearing as many. So what you'll find is that this week, whether you decide to do any work with anyone else after you leave here, is going to be very powerful because of all the work you'll be doing with everyone else this week. And you'll also find that having different people ask you the releasing questions is also very enlightening, because they'll ask them maybe slightly differently than you would. And because of that, you'll find that it broadens your perspective, your ease, your ability to do the releasing for yourself. So this is not the format that we usually have in a retreat. Usually you come here just for yourself, with no even interest in sharing this with others. However, in this instance, you're all going to become, to the degree that you choose to be, vehicles for transformation of the planet. So if you're interested in, by the way, those of you watching at home, if you're interested in becoming, and you're not already signed up, if you're interested in becoming a vehicle for transforming the planet, in addition to helping yourself, you might want to join us for the rest of the week. But if not, just enjoy the evening. So, but the other thing that I noticed, by the way, is even if you never release with another human being, but you're doing releasing yourself, if you're rediscovering the truth of who you are for yourself, that is also transforming the entire omniverse. Because again, just like the leaders of any country are a reflection of the mass consciousness of that country, everything that you perceive is a reflection of your consciousness. So as your consciousness changes, the world changes. And it has a very positive effect. Very positive. And so, and by the way, we're just going to get into it tonight. We're often the first night of a retreat, I let people warm up to it, and I talk in generalities, and maybe we do a little releasing, or maybe not. But tonight we're just going to roll up our sleeves and get into it. Let's see if there's anything else I want to add. Any questions, either from home or from the people here, from what I've covered so far? Yes. No, by the way, grab the microphone. Oh, actually, let me grab it for a second. I just need to do a brief microphone training. So when you're in this room and you're speaking into them, oh, we changed the color of the... My goodness, is that your doing, James? Thanks. Anyway, when you talk into the microphone, you don't hold it here, you don't hold it here, you don't hold it here or out here. You'll hold it like this, as though you're about to lick a lollipop. But even though this is a new cover, please don't lick it. It's not hygienic, not just for your, it's not just for everyone else, but for you. So anyway, here you go.
Do I have to stand when I ask the question?
Yes, please.
Okay. Will we be picking a new partner every day, or we just stick with one partner the whole week?
Here's what I recommend. If you're working from home, it's probably helpful to work with the same partner, unless you formed a little group, or you form over the next 24 hours a little group. But while you're here, please work with as many people as possible, because it's easy for you to just continue to switch partners here. There's always some advantage in showing up live. Now, there's great advantages in taking it from home, too, because you can take it from home. You didn't have to pay to get here. You can sleep in your own bed, eat in your own kitchen, do all the things you usually need to do. But because you're here, please switch partners every time, including those of you who are married to someone in the room or in a relationship with someone in the room, or husband, wife, father, daughter, son, whatever. Release with as many people as possible.
I have another question.
Sure.
Where do I put the microphone after I'm done with it?
What?
Where do I put the microphone after I'm done with it?
Say that again?
Where do I put the microphone after I'm done with it?
You can either hold on to it while I see if there's anyone else who want to speak, or you can put it up in the front. By the way, there are no mic runners here, so be conscious of who has their hand up, and if you're wanting to speak, be responsible for getting your microphone. That doesn't mean you always have to come up. Usually people will pass it to you. But if they're not, just get up and grab one. Okay? So who else has a question about anything I've covered, or how the week is going to unfold? Going once? Going twice? Okay. So, by the way, tonight we are going to be we don't always take a break the first night, but we are going to take a break. Let's see, we started at 7, so on this clock, 8, we're going to 9:30. So, will someone signal me at about 8:15? Someone like Annie or Tim? Or someone else. So it doesn't matter who. Someone, oh, you're going to do it? Never mind. Doug volunteered. He's going to take care of timing. You've got your hands full over there. What's that?
Starting to see how to set my phone, but I won't do that.
Okay. Yes, by the way, those of you at home can leave your phones on, but those of you here, please check to make sure your digital devices are turned off. Unless you're expecting an emergency call from a family member or your business, please turn it off, not even on vibrate. And by the way, there's no, please don't record while the seminar is going on. You're all going to get a copy of it anyway, so you don't need to record any of this. And by the way, it stays in your digital library permanently. And so as long as we have the access to the internet, which hopefully doesn't go away anytime soon, you'll have access to this material. So, so I think what we'll do is we'll just, is this the materials? Yes. So, let's see if there's anything else I need to cover before we get into the materials. By the way, did everyone remember to bring a copy of the Sedona Method book, like you were instructed? I guess not everyone. Did you bring extra copies of the book? Yes. Yeah, so pick up a book. For the beginning part of the course, we'll be doing more from the book. As the course progresses, we'll be working more with the handouts. Except there's 2 handouts that we're going to give out tonight. And by the way, those of you watching at home should have all the handouts, and you should also have a copy of the book. Those of you in the free view, you get the handouts. The 2 handouts we'll be working with tonight too. And you'll find they're incredibly beneficial to use even if you never do the rest of the training. So the 2 handouts we'll be working with tonight are the peer-to-peer releasing procedure and the after peer-to-peer releasing procedure. So first let me explain where they came from. Those 2 procedures, by the way, the after procedure used to be only available to Sedona Method instructors. At the time, there were no Sedona Method coaches. When I got mine, it was marked secret. It was numbered, and I had to agree to return it if I lost the right to continue to teach the Sedona Method. So one of the first things I did when I took over as director of training of the Sedona Method back in the early 90s is I realized that this procedure was so powerful, I wanted everyone to have it. So it's now in the Sedona Method book, and it's in the Sedona Method audio program, the super course. We'll work with that second. The other procedure is what you do before you do a facilitation. That one didn't feel appropriate to put in a basic training or in the book, but we'll go over that first tonight because it's very powerful. And it's when we do the pre-facilitation procedure, you can do this before you go to a business meeting, before you meet with your husband, your daughter, your wife, your son. It's something you can do in the beginning of every day. It's a way to get yourself out of the way so that you can be more fully present and more effective at whatever it is you're about to do. And it's very, very powerful. And it's also a way for you to start getting yourself, if you are actually going to be releasing with someone, it's a way for you to start getting yourself out of the way. Now, by the way, if you get yourself out of the way in life, everything you do is easier. Everyone in this room and everyone watching at home has had experiences where they were just in the flow. It didn't feel like you were doing anything really, but things were just happening spontaneously or naturally by themselves. It may have been in a sporting event. Excuse me. It may have been watching a sunset. It may have been making love. There are so many times in life where that sense of separation, that sense of there's a me here and a you over there, disappears. And when that happens, you're actually glimpsing or becoming more self-aware of the truth of who you are. And it's natural. It actually happens throughout the day, but we ignore it. We're so obsessed with keeping busy. We're so obsessed with entertainment. We're so obsessed with Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all the other ways of interacting socially online and everything else that we do, television, movies, that we don't really take time to just let ourselves be aware of beingness. So what you'll find is that if you do this procedure in the beginning of the day or beginning of an event, it will help you put that awareness of that which you truly are in the forefront, and it makes it more effective. I used it, for instance, when I was selling commercial real estate. It made a huge difference. I used it when I was, throughout my life. It just became, I was precocious. I took the basic course in November of 1976. I took the advanced course in January of 1977 and the teacher's training in February of 1977. Annie, weren't you on all three of those courses too? You weren't listening? I know you were at least on... Enrica in the back, who's helping with the people from home, took the course in the course right before me. So we've known each other a long time. What's that? In just about a month. It'll be 40 years Annie and I have been doing this. It's been a while. So, any rate, so I've had these two procedures. By the way, they've evolved a little bit. I've added things to them and expanded them, made them maybe a little more user-friendly. But I've been using both of them since 1977. So they're very helpful and very powerful. So why don't you open it up on your screen if you're at home. If you're here, pull out your and if you forgot to bring it with you, they'll raise your hand and they'll hand one out. We're going to start with a How many do you have? Do you have enough for everybody? Yeah. So just...
Clear instructions.
Clear, I can see everyone's paying attention. So just keep your hands up and they'll give you... So while they're doing that, those of you watching at home, make sure you open it up on your screen. And by the way, I'd like those of you who are just part of the free view to take out your copy on your computer screen too, so you can follow along as we do this. So does everyone have a copy now? So those of you who left your materials in the room, bring them tomorrow. Actually, there are a lot of people here who have been to retreats before, and they assumed that I wouldn't get into any of the meat and potatoes of the course until tomorrow. That's also why some people aren't here. They say, oh, you know, they'll probably just do, hi, how are you, what's going on, welcome here. Not this week. Just so you know, we are going to be moving very quickly this week. I want to cover as much of this material as possible. So the pace of what we cover this week is going to be vastly accelerated of what we do in a regular retreat. Although, obviously, how many people in this room have been to a regular retreat? Let's see, probably looks like about 90 or 85%. So, as you know, even when we don't go quite as the pace isn't quite as accelerated, it's still powerful. But this is going to be even more powerful, I hope, because we're just going to do it. And by the way, for those handful of you who haven't been to a retreat before, you're fine. Some of you went. When you saw how many hands went, I was like, what have I gotten myself into? It means you're advanced. And those of you at home who have never been to a retreat, this is your first time participating, or those of you who decide to come because you're watching. If you're watching this, it means you have an opportunity to step into something really amazing. So don't worry about the fact that you've never been to one of our retreats before. It wasn't a requirement. Those of you who've been here before may find it helpful, but it certainly wasn't a requirement. So at any rate, let's go. Annie, are there any questions from home yet? No? No? Okay. So I've already gone over in much more words the purpose of this procedure. It's basically a tee-up for whatever you're about to do. Whether you're about to go into a business meeting, you're about to sit down and release with someone, you're about to go have a meeting with your spouse that you might be a little concerned about how it's going to go. You're about to start a therapy session or a counseling session or a coaching session. Any of those situations, is an appropriate time to use this procedure. Or you could start every day with it. So it's very helpful. Where was I 20 years ago? Probably in a training room like this. So the first step is to basically clear the space, clear whatever's going on. If you're stressed about something else, put it down. If you're anxious about what's about to happen, let it go. If you're not feeling enthusiastic about what's next, let that go. Whatever it is you're holding on to, basically the first step is to let it go. So now that's not new. And you've heard me say that. If you've done any work with the Sedona method before, you've heard me talk about this before. So you're probably already doing that to some degree before you start things. Or you do it in the middle, when you forget. But anyway, the important step here is, and it's especially important if you're going to release with another person, is to not add your stuff to their stuff. The more you can get yourself out of the way, the more effective you'll be at helping someone else release. And the more benefit you'll get from asking them the questions. Because the more present you are, the more you show up with another human being, it has an amazing transformative effect on your consciousness. So the way to really facilitate that is to get yourself out of the way. And in order to do that, all the tools of the Sedona method are useful for that. So just basically use your favorite releasing technique that you know from the book or from the course or from all our other courses. Just use one of your favorites and do some releasing. And you can also do the after facilitation procedure, which we'll cover a little later, as well. As a way, if you know you're going to be meeting with a specific person to release with them, you have a releasing partner that you're going to be calling, or they're calling you. You're about to do a therapy session or a coaching session or a counseling session. You can, if you've met the person before, you can do the after facilitation procedure, which we'll cover in a little while. You can do that before you. You can do that now before you meet with them again, so that you're not carrying around any excess baggage. And I'll talk more about that when we cover that part. And then, if that naturally what happens when you let go, when you release, is you feel more centered, you feel more focused, you feel more present, you feel more here. But what you can also do after you've done the releasing is just put your attention on awareness or beingness or isness. When you simply put your attention on that, as opposed to, now, does this mean you have to shut your mind up? No. In fact, the more you try to shut your mind up, the noisier it gets. All of you have probably experienced that. This is not about trying to force your mind to be quiet. But it's about paying attention to what's in between the thoughts, what's present in this experience, what the essence of this experience, no matter what the experience is, whether it's amazingly wonderful or incredibly traumatic, there's something that's changelessly there that because it's always here, it's always now, unchangingly, we tend to ignore it. We tend to not put our attention on it. So just switching your focus, even for a fraction of a second, changes everything. It really changes the dynamic of what you're experiencing by giving attention to that which is real as opposed to that which is unreal. So spend a few moments doing that. Just letting yourself actually focus on awareness, presence, beingness. And by the way, in doing that, anything that wasn't released while you were doing the releasing that was the first step, starts to release all by itself. The more you just are aware of awareness, the more everything else dissolves. And the other thing you'll find is you may even find yourself naturally switching perspectives. Most of us, when we are living life, even when we're focusing, for instance, on beingness, there's still two. There's still this illusion of a me who's paying attention to that which never changes. But as you do this, from time to time, you find your perspective will switch. And instead of you paying attention to beingness or awareness, awareness is aware of what you used to think you were. The whole thing turns around. And many of you in this room and many of you watching from home have had that experience. And if that happens, just enjoy it. And not if, when that happens, just enjoy it. And by the way, that switch, both the switch of paying more attention and becoming more focused in or on or as beingness. I guess that's another way of saying it. You can start by focusing on beingness and then allow yourself to focus as beingness. That shifts things. So I would also, by the way, recommend you go to that step in this procedure whenever you think of it throughout the day. The more you do that, the more it becomes reflexive, the more natural it becomes. The more you'll find yourself doing that with ease. So, and step 3 is, actually it's a continuation. Step 3 is, if you're struggling with that or you just want to take it deeper, do a little work with the 5th way. Now, just a reminder, the 5th way is focusing on just 2 things. It's the same thing we focus on when we're at a retreat. You're focusing on the absence of a separate individual, and you're focusing on the presence of that awareness or beingness that you are. And there are techniques that make up the 5th way that you'll be getting a handout about tomorrow. For those of you not familiar with it, tomorrow we'll be giving you a detailed handout. Actually, if you've already signed up for the course, you already have it. I don't know how many of you have read it, but you already have it. And if you have it in your room, please bring it. But one of the things you can do, for instance, is just ask yourself a question like, am I? Not who am I or what am I, just simply, am I? Or you can use a traditional self-inquiry question like, what am I? So actually, because I've been talking a lot, and just to change the focus a little bit, everyone turn to the person on your right or your left, and we'll do 1 or 2 of these techniques so you can experience them directly. Now, those of you watching at home, if you don't have a partner you can work with, we're only going to do this for just a couple of minutes. But those of you watching at home, just simply close your eyes. Please don't start. Just give me a second so I can talk to the other people participating. So, what you can do, actually, I'll get them set up and then I'll talk to you. So just wait a second. I'll explain it. I'll explain myself. I'll explain it. So the first thing you're going to do is just focus on your partner, and just you'll ask them the question, are you? Not what are you, just are you? And however they respond, just follow up with, and could you allow that to be enough? And then just switch back and forth. So you ask your partner, are you? And however they respond, and you'll say, and could you allow that to be enough? Then they'll ask you, you'll ask them, they'll ask you, you'll ask them, they'll ask you, you'll ask them. And you keep doing that until I say time. So those of you go ahead, begin. So you can, those of you at home, if you don't have a partner, you can just ask yourself this. You can ask yourself, am I? And could you allow that to be enough? And actually, oh, you don't have a partner? There are 3 people back there who make great partners. So anyway, or if you want, I'll just ask you the questions for a minute. So in this moment, just simply focus on this. Are you? Just are you? And could you allow that to be enough? Are you? And could you allow that to be enough? Now, remember, I'm not saying what are you or who are you, because you can make up a whole story about that. Just simply, are you? And could you allow that to be enough? Just for now, could you allow that beingness or isness to just simply be? Are you? And could you allow that to be enough? Okay, now close your eyes and just continue to do this with yourself. Now, if you're in a room, those of you who are smart enough to already organize a little mini retreat around this, you can continue doing this with the people in the room. We're only going to do this for another minute or two, but if you'd like to keep going that way, or you can simply just close your eyes and you can say, am I? And can I allow that to be enough? Am I? And could I allow that to be enough? Okay? Good. So okay, great. So thank your partner and go back to your seat. So what did you notice when we did that? Yes. Remember, you're in charge of getting your own mic. Here.
I noticed that if you didn't say exactly the words you said, it completely tripped me up and I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think just the expectation of the whole thing, it took me a little bit. He kept saying other stuff, and so finally when I knew he was going to, I could let that go. But
Yeah.
I mean, my first thing was, that's not the exercise. You're not doing that right. And which I think is kind of neat because
Yes.
there's going to be a lot of that.
Right.
No, I mean my own expectation of what everyone's supposed to do, and if they don't do it, then, and so I'm really glad that I saw it very, very first thing, so it's
Yes.
something I can let go of.
Yes, and again, the people are, just in case you haven't noticed, people do what they do. They don't do what you expect them to do.
Damn it! I know it's really weird.
It's just the way life is.
I know.
And by the way, one of the beautiful things about releasing in general, but as you start to move in the direction, you can sit down. As you move in the direction of helping others, is you find you naturally become a lot more accepting of yourself and the world. What I find after 40 years of doing this, or just about 40 years of doing this, is there's very little in the world that I don't spontaneously feel acceptance for naturally. Honestly, I've been having to work a little on Donald Trump. There's not always natural acceptance of how he is. But in general, all the work I've done on myself, just for working on myself, and all the work I've done with others, has led this body-mind into a place where acceptance is the norm. And it's really wonderful. And so that's part of the invitation of moving in this direction of helping others. And that's also part of the reason that I decided to just give the peer-to-peer course the way we're doing it. Inviting people from home to watch and participate, inviting you to be here, but also telling you to just go out and do it. Because I'm just one person. And I'm certain that over time, I may lose interest in doing this. I'm so content with the way life is, moment to moment. I don't even really have a strong desire to do this anymore, even though this is my favorite part of the year. Still, one of my favorite parts of the year is when I do retreats, is when I do this work. I still love it, but even that's falling away. So what I wanted to do with this course is empower everybody to start helping everybody else, because that's a way this can really start to spread organically, naturally. One-to-one, peer-to-peer, to have it start going out to everyone. So, and I want everyone to have the benefit that I've had. After almost 40 years of helping others, again, I took it only took me 3 months to get to the teacher's training, 4 months. And I decided, at the moment, there is no teacher training or coach training, although if I ever decide to do one, this course we're doing now is one of the prerequisites. There isn't that track because, for several reasons. One, I just follow my intuition, and my intuition has been saying it's not correct, probably because I was supposed to do this. But there may be other reasons too. Intuition is not always reasonable. So in case you haven't noticed that, and it can be difficult to explain, because when you're getting an intuitive call, there may be absolutely no reason why you're getting that intuitive call. But the other thing that I've learned is, as you do this work with others, you'll find that your own intuitive knowingness gets clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer. So I've learned to trust it. Took me a while, but I've learned to trust it. And one of the ways that my intuitive knowingness, or it's not my intuitive knowingness, but intuitive knowingness has become more available to this body-mind mechanism, is because I've been doing this not just with myself, but doing this with others for almost 40 years. You'll find that you're naturally, one of the things as you work with someone else is you find that you become them. Not in a creepy way. In a fun way. You discover that there is no you and no them. There is only one. And that opens the door to intuition and many other things as well. So, anyone else wanted to share from that? Yes. You want to give her the microphone?
I noticed that my mind got very quiet, very still, and very peaceful.
Uh-huh.
Now, it could be because I got up at 5:30 this morning, and my brain is half asleep. I've been on that. But I didn't even, it was no thoughts. I mean, it was
Right.
it was a wonderful, I just went with the flow, and it was a wonderful feeling.
Great, great. So the purpose of this procedure is for you to start everything that you decide to from that no thought place. That's where everything starts anyway, but if you're aware of that, it really transforms your life. Because the quieter the mind is naturally, the clearer it is. It doesn't mean you have to try to shut the mind up. That just makes more noise. But you'll find as you let go, especially as you help others release, that your mind gets quieter and the remaining thoughts get more and more positive. You start to see positive outcomes for yourself and everyone else. You start to see everyone you meet is already perfect, including the people who are coming to you to release. And I'll talk more of that and how to develop that throughout the week, because it's a natural outcome of doing this work, reaching out to help others. You'll find that the way to do that is not only to be in that thought-free state, but you just, Lester used to say, see the perfection where the seeming imperfection seems to be. That's a very long sentence. And to simplify it, it's just basically, as you release with people, as you see, no matter how they start out, no matter how lost they are in a story, no matter how struggling they are, and you see that just these few simple questions you ask them helps them to rediscover the truth of who they are and to drop whatever suffering they're experiencing, that strengthens your ability to use releasing. And it also just moves you forward. And doesn't just help them, it moves you forward. And we'll talk this week about how to work to develop that. So, let's continue with the procedure. So the last step is kind of the icing on the cake. And the last step is, what you do is, most of you have phrases or things that you've heard, maybe from a teacher, maybe from a spiritual book, maybe something you just heard in your mind at one point that just really struck you. But these phrases are triggers. This whole illusion that we call life is very much affected by our thoughts and feelings. And so if you use a trigger phrase that triggers this thought-free state, that triggers that which you naturally are, it's a way to help deepen it. It's a way to help solidify it. It's a way to help anchor it. And I'm going to go through a couple as possibilities, but you all may find that you have your own, and it's totally fine to use your own. You don't have to use these. These are just some examples of the kind of phrases you can use. So I only have some of these memorized, because some of these I've used before, but so you can do something simple, like I open myself to my full potential, or I allow myself to be fully present, or I allow my beingness to be, or just simply I am I. Or Lester used to say, you can use, when you focus, this is an aside, when you focus on beingness, it actually takes you beyond beingness itself to your natural state. Even beingness, because it's a positive thing, it has a negation. If you have being, you also have not being. And so there's something even beyond beingness. But beingness is basically that sense of amness. And it's something that everyone listening to me at home and everyone in this room cherishes, that sense of amness. And it's present in every experience. Unfortunately, usually it's mixed up in all the other things that we do, and so we lose track of that amness. But even that amness, or that beingness, is just a taste. It's where infinity touches your world, your experience. And so if you pay attention to it, it keeps pulling you in more and more. And finally, you discover you're looking out from that, or as that. But another thing you can simply do is simply repeat, I. So let's actually do that one together, because that's pretty simple. And remember, whenever we do an exercise here, I highly recommend that you do it at home as well. So if you're by yourself or in a group, you can be repeating this out loud. So basically, it's just repeat after me, and it's going to be very hard to remember, because it's obviously a word you hardly ever use. But the way we usually use the word I is to describe what we're not. But when you focus just on that word and you repeat it a few times, or you meditate on it, what happens is you start to discover the real I, that which is beyond the one that you have associated with your body, your mind, your story, your beliefs, your ideas. So let's just do that together. I. Okay, now we'll be quiet for a moment. Now just do that. Close your eyes if you still have them open. And just do that silently to yourself. We'll do that for 60 seconds. Just keep repeating, I. And as you're doing that, see if you can really get into the essence of what that sound is pointing at. Allow it to pull you in. Okay, good. So when this procedure was first given to me, there was only one phrase, and you were only allowed to use this one. And this one is, I am the infinite beingness of the universe. Omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. Actually, I've forgotten it because I always change it. Oh, it is, no, that's good. It's all perfect. So be it. It is not in my ego sense, but in beingness I am. That's a lot of words. But it's still very, very powerful. This one is what we used to use as when we first learned how to be instructors. We use this particular phrase. And the reason I've moved on to other ones is because it's still talking about the phenomena. Even the infinite beingness of the universe is still phenomena. What you are is beyond all phenomena. But if you resonate with this, use it. It's very powerful. So, and this one, I am effortless, choiceless, pure awareness, expressing as bliss. The vast, changeless background that surrounds and interpenetrates all that exists. And sometimes I put in all that appears to exist. And then this last one is based on a mantra in one of the Upanishads. This is the English translation. But I've added a line at the very end because I didn't feel it went far enough. So let's do this one together too. We'll do this one out loud a couple of times. So, I am the all. I am the all in all. I am the one and all. I am the all-in-one. I am the many. I am nothing at all. So let's do that again. I am the all. I am the all in all. I am the one in all. I am the all in one. I am the many. I am nothing at all. Because even when you think even when your experience is I am the all, that's still a limitation. So that's why I added that last phrase. Did you have a question, or are you just waving? Oh, you're telling me the time. Oh, that's perfect. This is a perfect timing. So, I already have an assignment for those of you who are participating from home or choose to participate from home. Please do this before every session. So do this in the morning before you come here. Do this in the afternoon before we begin our afternoon session. Although those of you watching from home, I know someone's watching from Singapore. And so it might not be morning or afternoon. It's obviously going to be a different time zone. It's going to be reversed probably. So in a second, we're going to take a break. And I have a request. Those of you who've been to retreats before, or who are licensed coaches and instructors, James is going to do a brief recording for the people watching at home so that they can hear about what your experience has been releasing with others and or just attending retreats. So obviously, if this is your first time, you just go pee. And there'll be plenty of time for those of you who choose to share to pee too, but as many people as possible would just come to James now. And I want to, again, what I'm trying to do here is invite those of you at home who haven't yet signed up for the course to participate. This is going to be an amazing opportunity. And by the way, I do retreats 4 times a year, but this is probably going to be the last time I do this retreat. I think because we're recording it and because I'm asking everyone to share it with everyone else, I probably won't do it again. So if you're on the fence, this is the time. So, yeah. Yes, it's now or never. But at any rate, so those of you who have to pee right now, go pee fast. Who are willing to share, but if you can hold it in for a minute, I'd like the full 10-minute break or so to be people sharing, to encourage people at home to participate. So please do that. I'd really appreciate it. So we'll start again at 8:30 on that clock.
Shall I say my name too? Yeah. Ready? Hi, my name is Sonia, and I just wanted to let you know about my experience with the Sedona method and with the retreats. I've been doing a coaching training. I've been doing a bunch of other retreats here in Sedona before. And every time I come, it's just this huge opening, and there's always something new to learn, always something new to let go of, and it's almost like you're an onion, and there's like all these layers, and each time you're here, there's another layer that gets peeled off, and it's just, there's so much freedom, that comes from being here, and there's so much heart opening that comes from being here. So just the heart opening with yourself and with other people, and so I love it. I recommend it, and I think if you're on the fence, I think you should make the jump.
Now, do I say my full name or not? Okay, all right. Okay, go. Okay. Hi, I'm Catherine Clift, and it's because that I came to one of these retreats that I found out about life coaching, and I'm now a newly certified life coach based on the law of attraction. And I'm really excited about transforming people's lives, and I'm already doing that. I had a client just this week that was struggling with a physical leg ailment, and she had all this fear coming up that it wasn't getting any better, and she was just beside herself and just really emotional about it. And I used the Sedona method to help relieve some of that stress, and she's already given me feedback that she's feeling so much better. And I'm hoping that she's watching this retreat today, because I did share the link with her. And these retreats have been phenomenal. I come home flying high, and so powerful. I can't say enough how these retreats have just changed my life. So again, if you're on the fence, this is an opportunity of a lifetime.
Hi, I'm Julia. I've been doing the Sedona method for about 7 years. It's been by far, of all the self-help stuff I've done, the most powerful, work I've ever done. So amazing. Too many gains to share. I don't know where to begin. I think I want to start with one of the more recent ones. There's just too many, but this I like because I got a photo to share. Okay, so a few weeks ago, I was up in Bishop, California with my family, and I should preface this by stating that I had arachnophobia my entire life. A photo of a spider would terrify me. Okay, so I was just thinking that I need to release that aversion. That was just something that, I don't know. I was a spider murderer. I haven't been murdering as much, but yeah. Anyway, so I'm in Bishop, and I'm attending this county fair, and there's this little 7-year-old boy holding a tarantula, this huge Chilean rose spider. So I released, and I released, and I released, and I was able to, I don't know if you can get this in the screen. So anyway, okay, that's me. That's like a month ago or 3 weeks ago, overcoming a phobia on the spot. Okay, I thought that was pretty powerful. Yeah, so... yeah, that was one. There's other stories of other little miracles that have happened as a result. I don't know, my kid and we were attracting school closures. We had experienced 4 school closures, and most people don't experience one. And so I helped him release on that, and then I was able to release myself on that. And then we just allowed ourselves to experience having already found the most amazing school and being so happy about it. And then I heard about a great school, but I also heard it was likely that this is like a school you got to win the lottery, and it's not likely you're going to get in. But I allowed myself to just no, let go of that fear, and I just I don't know. I let that go, and then a few days later, I went to that school, and they told us that we got in. There was one space available for my child. So that's, I don't know. I can go on, but there's other people who have stories to share. So if you're even thinking about this, just do it. I mean, it's the best thing I've ever done. I can't recommend it enough.
Yes, go? Okay. So, hi, my name is Marilyn Mull. I am a licensed clinical social worker and a certified Sedona Method coach. I've been doing the Sedona Method for about 14 years. It is hands down the most amazing tool I have ever learned personally and professionally. It has transformed every area of my life, and I have the great good pleasure of working with clients and helping them discover the truth of who they are. And this is truly a wonderful opportunity. So if you are on the fence, give it a try. Even remotely, it's extraordinary. And yeah, find yourself a good coach, a good releasing partner, enjoy this, and your life will never be the same, more than you can imagine. Thanks.
Give me a sign when to start.
Hi, my name is Martin Klotten. I'm a physician from the Netherlands, and I've been practicing the Sedona method for about 10 years. And for those of you who are on the fence, my advice is very short. Just do it. The benefits are enormous, and I love it. It makes my work a lot lighter, and my patients report to me again and again how much it does for them. So please join us.
James. I'm going to try not to cry with this, but I don't know. So my name's Doug, and 6 months ago I had a stroke, and I've been doing the Sedona method for probably 10, 11 years, and I always thought it was an amazingly powerful thing. I've been a mental health counselor for the past 35, 36 years, and I know a lot of different things from a lot of different cultures. Sedona method has always been one of the most important things, the most powerful strategies I've used with myself. But after a stroke, when you're wondering whether you're going to live or die, and I really didn't know, what I found was that all my preconceptions and what I thought would work, what other people thought would work, people coming in and telling me to be positive, telling me everything was going to be fine, all of the things people do, the one thing that consistently worked for me was the Sedona method, releasing, because you get scared. You get scared. So let me tell you from first-hand experience, there can come a time in your life where it can literally feel like it saves your life, and why not do it?
Can you hear me now? So, a few logistics before we do the next procedure. First off, when you come back in the morning and also after the afternoon break, please sit in a different seat. Because those of you here, I'd like you to. There are two purposes in that. One is seeing this from a different perspective. When most of us, when we go to a seminar or go anywhere, we always do. Once we find a comfortable groove, we stay in it. And if you stay in the groove, you miss life. So in a little way, just simply taking a different seat every time you come back is a way to start breaking that habit. But also, since we'll be doing partnerships as best we can, we're going to do 2 partnerships every session. So we'll do two tomorrow morning, 2 in the afternoon, and so on through the rest of the week. There may be some times when we only do 1, but we'll see. So we'll see how it unfolds. But and every time we do a partnership, it's good to try it with a different person, so that you're experiencing it with many different perspectives. 2 is, for the length of the course, please refrain from using drugs or alcohol. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with drugs or alcohol, but when you're doing this type of work, they make it more difficult. Now, by the way, if you're on a prescription medication, please don't change it. I'm talking about recreational drugs or alcohol. When you're on a course like this, you're trying to really transform your consciousness, and you're really also wanting to allow for issues to come up and surface, and you want to be able to feel what you're actually feeling. And all those, the reason we use drugs and alcohol is to get away from that. So please refrain from using drugs and alcohol. Also, in those of you at home, this obviously doesn't count, but those of you here, please do an internet fast. Stay off of Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all those things. Now, am I going to police this? Of course not. These are just guidelines, things I suggest you do to get the most out of the course. Do you have to do any of these? Of course not. I'm just suggesting some things that you'll find will be helpful. Those of you in this room, you're staying in a hotel room or in a place where probably a television is very available. So I would also recommend this week that you don't watch TV. Except, again, of course, if you're watching your television at home in order to do this, there's no way around it. Unless you've even more advanced than I thought. Where you just go like this. Then you don't need this course. So, please follow the laws of whatever country you're in as the course is unfolding. And those of you coming into the room, please don't use colognes or perfumes. Deodorant is a good idea, but colognes or perfumes, sometimes it's a little overwhelming to people. Also, this room, they're very protective of their carpet here. You might not know it looking at it, but actually this room has been a meeting room that's used often for many years, and before that this room was a church. So the carpet is a little worn. But they want to have it, it's a nonprofit organization that people run this, and they want it to last as long as possible. So please only bring water into the room. Please eat outside and drink your coffee outside or your tea outside. Don't bring that into the room. Also, when you leave at night, please, when you're in the room, please wear your name tag. When you leave, please leave it on the table so that Thomas and Morissette can know who's present and who isn't. Because if you don't show up, we may call you just to make sure you're okay. And I don't want them to be calling people if you just forgot to you forgot your name tag. Okay? So let's see. Oh, and as you're doing this, this is a more general thing of how to get the most out of the course. I've already mentioned, please, as you're doing partnerships this week, work on issues that are real to you. But the other thing I'd recommend you do this week is be open throughout the day and the night to just simply be that which you are. And there are things you can do to support that. One is to nurture yourself physically and emotionally. You're going to be working hard while we're in sessions, and I may be giving you, actually I will be giving you assignments every night. So there'll be plenty to do, but still make time for maybe a hot bath, or definitely make time for a hike. Sedona is one of the best places to hike on the planet. I can walk to 4 or 5 wonderful hiking trails right from my house. And my wife and I, weather permitting, go on a hike every day. Because it's fun, it's a beautiful place to do it, and it'd be a shame for you to miss out while you're here. So get out, hike, do things, if you can get a massage therapist to be prompt and be available before or after the course, do a massage, do things physically that really support you. The other thing I would recommend you do is just love yourself this week. Honor yourself. Be kind to yourself. Now, by the way, of course, this is a good thing to do all the time, but just deciding to do that from now on might be a little bit of a stretch. So do your best to just simply do that to the best of your ability this week. Allow yourself to nurture yourself, love yourself, care for yourself, be kind to yourself. And I mean self with a little s, in other words, your body, mind, and as though it needs that, which it doesn't, but still feel the love that you do for the self, the one. And so take breaks throughout the week to just be that which you are. And again, all these assignments are something I would highly recommend you do throughout your life. But again, when you make a commitment to do something like that, to say I'm going to do that from now on is setting yourself up to fail. So you can pick an hour a day or 1 minute a day where you're going to be kind to yourself and love yourself and nurture yourself and support yourself. You can start with just a minute. And that's true this week too. Yes, you had a question? Do you want to just want to pass the mic?
The comment that you made about nurturing yourself. Today happens to be the so-called International Day of Nonviolence. In other words, this is today is the birthday of M.K. Gandhi.
It is?
Yes.
Oh, how wonderful.
And
That's it's also the beginning of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year's.
Right.
And it's also what's that? It's the Islamic New Year? Wow, they're in harmony this year?
I guess, yeah.
Very interesting. It's also beginning of the 9 days, I think it may have started yesterday, of the Divine Mother in India. Did it start yesterday?
Yes.
Yesterday.
It's the Navaratri, yes.
Say that again?
Navaratri. 9
Navaratri,
days, yes.
yes.
But I just wanted to, make the point that, in my own personal sort of, experience with the method and so on, the more I am kind to this body-mind, the more I get out of releasing.
Yes.
Just having that loving kindness. So I just wanted to share that, and it just so happens that today is the birthday of one of the master releasers. Gandhi.
That's right.
Right. Yeah. When he was shot, I mean, the first thing that came out of his mouth was, "Please let go of the guy who shot me."
Yes.
Right. So, yeah, he was certainly somebody who had realized the truth of who he was,
Yes.
and just wanted to share that here with the
Well,
group.
thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you. I think it's really interesting that it's the 9 days of Divine Mother. It's both the Jewish and the Muslim New Year, and it's the birthday of Gandhi. I don't know how often all those coincide. Well, that's what I'm saying, that we're starting on this on a very auspicious day, which was not planned. Well, maybe it was, but I certainly didn't plan it. But then again, I don't plan much. And then when I do plan, God laughs anyway, so. Anyway, I think that's awesome. Thanks for bringing that up. Again, it is really my sincere wish that this is the beginning of something wonderful. I really would like you to view this week as a way to empower yourself, whether you're doing it from home or from here, to start really sharing this with other people. Roll your sleeves up and start doing it with those you care about and those who are interested, so that this can really start getting out to the world. And encourage the people who come to your sessions when you do this to do exactly the same thing. And they'll do that with the people they do it with, and so on. Hopefully it will start to spread. And we won't have to wait for holidays to celebrate nonviolence or the Divine Mother or the New Year, because the New Year happens every moment. It's always new. It's always perfect. So thanks for sharing that. Good. So let me see if there are any other logistics. Those of you who've been to retreats before, did I miss something important?
Is there going to be any evening?
You'll have evening assignments. We're not going to have evening sessions because you'll know, but I'll be giving assignments for the evenings. And by the way, those of you participating from home, since you're also living your life, if you miss a session, you can always watch it later. So don't worry about it. Also, because we're having people participate from all over the world, so if you miss an evening assignment, so what? Just do the best you can. The good news again is this is being recorded, so you can watch it over and over and over again. Hopefully each time you do, you'll start inviting more people to watch it with you. So that's, I think those are the only enough guidelines. So let's do the post facilitation procedure. So again, I guess raise your hands again if you don't have that with you. And we'll hand those out too. And those of you at home, why don't you open that up on your screen if you haven't printed it out, because we're going to go over that now too. So keep your hands up until you get one. By the way, one other thing I want to add is those assignments of nurture yourself, be kind to yourself, honor yourself. I'd like you to do that with everyone in the room too. So those of you who are good at nurturing yourself, this week also work to nurture others. Again, part of what happens naturally as you release with others, it's probably the most supportive, or one of, if not the most supportive things you can do with another human being. But even when you go out to lunch with people or dinner, or you're the waiter or the waitress or the person at the front desk of the hotel the person at the store when you're buying something. Treat people, again, it's so interesting. Gandhi wants to be part of this. And the Dalai Lama, okay. But anyway, so just basically treat people with loving kindness this week. I know a lot of you do that anyway, but go out of your way to do that. And again, I'm not saying you have to do that all the time if it's overwhelming. I'm not saying that you have to do that from now on. But again, if you just have that in nurturing not just yourself as it appears as that body-mind, but the self that appears as other as well. Again, there is only one self. Anything you do that is nurturing, whether it's focused inwardly or outwardly, is nurturing the one self. And so share loving kindness with others. And actually go out of your way to do that this week as best you can. Even if you're feeling crabby. Even if you're in the middle of an inner life crisis. Do it anyway. What? Even if you're on a, yes, I recommend you drive with loving kindness, even on a freeway. That doesn't mean you can't go for the opening. Just don't run into anyone. That's not loving or kind. So I haven't added that before. It's probably because you mentioned Gandhi. And we started talking about the Divine Mother, because there's no one more kind than her. She lets us do whatever we want, and then she still nurtures and supports us through nature, through everything we experience. So, anyway, so everyone, do your best to treat everyone in this room, everyone you meet, everyone you interact with this week, both of those of you in the room and those of you at home, in your own gatherings at home, or with just the people you're interrelating to. Just go out of your way to be more loving, more kind. And if there's feelings, if that brings up feelings to the contrary, good. That doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means there's something to let go of. So, okay, now let's focus on the procedure. So, this procedure, again, I mentioned earlier, is one of those procedures that was numbered and stamped secret, but this one I decided needed to be available to everyone. So it's in the Sedona Method book. It's also on the Super Course, the audio program, and there's a couple of things, though, I wanted to let you know who are taking this course that you might find helpful, is that this procedure can be used two ways. One is as a digging tool. I used this, for instance, on my mother for literally hours at a time, for days on end, until something just opened in me, and it really totally transformed our relationship. But it also totally transformed how I experienced my whole emotional life. So you can use it on your parents, your relatives, your friends, your enemies, politicians, anyone who really gets your goat, and just keep digging and digging and digging until you can really feel like you can grant the person the right to be the way they are, like you have only love feelings for them, feeling secure with them, and feeling you are them and they are you. So that's one way to use the procedure, but another way to use this procedure is to really actually clean up. And if you have that as your intent, then you can go through it much more quickly and still achieve the exact same result. So one, you're just trying to pull up more and more, but the other one, you're actually just trying to get to a place of inner completion. And the way you do that is by, there are a series of questions, and I'll use just control as an example as I describe it. By the way, I'm going to describe it, and then I'm going to take us through the procedure as a group release, so we can all do it together. And then I'm going to describe the second way of doing it, which is a more fifth way of doing it. And then I'll do the same thing with that. So the completion questions in the series, so the first question is, did this person try to control you? Now, by the way, when I first started doing the procedure, and Annie and Tim's did, when they first worked with it, those were the only questions. There were no follow-up questions like, could you let go of wanting to control them back? Could you let go of wanting to be controlled? Just that question, did this person try to control me? If you just do this and stay open inside, what you'll find is that there can be a spontaneous release. And as you keep letting go, what happens is you might start feeling, yes, they really tried to control me. And then after a few releases, the answer might be, well, no. Your actual perception of whether or not they were trying to control you can actually dramatically shift as you do this. I've seen that happen over and over and over and over and over again. Your whole way of seeing the interaction changes. And so just stay open to that happening. And don't be surprised if it happens. And the last question in each set, like the control question, and the completion question is, do I now grant this person the right for this person to be the way this person is? Just know that that's just a decision. It's really just a choice. So you can get to that point a lot faster than you think is possible. If you just had a knockdown, drag-out fight with your husband or your wife or your son or your daughter, or you think you really messed up with the person you just released with, or you feel like they were just impossible to get to let go. By the way, if you try to force anyone to release this week, it will not work. It's the same as in life. When you try to force someone to do anything, it's even harder to force someone to release. When you try to force someone to do something, it brings up their resistance, and you just start butting heads. So don't do that as best you can. And we'll talk more about how to avoid that starting tomorrow and throughout the whole week, actually. So, and also, so when you get to that third question in each set of questions, there's a set on control, there's a set on approval, there's a set on security, and there's a set on separation and oneness. When you get to that last question, you can choose at any time to say yes, and inwardly do that, and everything shifts. And you'll find you get easier, that gets easier and easier to do. And also, in life, you can skip all the other questions. If you find yourself wanting to control someone, you can just simply ask yourself, could I grant this person the right for this person to be the way this person is? Or if you're feeling non-love feelings towards someone, you can simply ask yourself, could I allow myself to have only love feelings for this person? It's just a choice. If you're feeling threatened, you can just decide, I allow myself to have only a feeling of well-being, a feeling of safety and trust with this person. Now, let me say something here about that. When you have a feeling of well-being, safety, and trust, that doesn't mean you do dumb things. You do dumb things when you don't. When you act out of fear, what happens is you will cause things to happen in your experience that actually will justify that fear feeling. But when you act from a feeling of well-being, safety, and trust, then you're being fearless, and then you're not attracting disaster. You're actually safer in life the more fearless you are. And the only way to be completely fearless is to recognize there is no separation. When everything you're seeing inside and outside is all one thing, and there is no you doing that, then there is no fear. And that's possible for everyone. And you'll get glimpses of that this week as we do this work, and in general as you do the releasing, you'll start to see that. And if you're feeling separate from someone, or you're wanting to separate from them, you can simply choose. Could I allow myself to have a feeling of you are me and I am you with this person? Or could I allow myself to have a feeling of oneness with them? It's just a choice. And that making that choice in life cuts through things very powerfully. So remember that in life. Everything you're learning this week will have applications even when you're not releasing with other people. So now since this is all written down, I'm not going to go over what's written on the piece of paper more than I just did. I'm going to take us through the process because I assume everyone can read the English language. That's why, otherwise you wouldn't be able to read any of our marketing materials because they're all in English, and you wouldn't have ended up here or listening from home or watching from home. So, and by the way, just a reminder, those of you who are here for the free view, you have this on your screen too, so you can follow along, you can read along if you'd like. So since I'm going to do this as a group release, I'm going to sit. So allow yourself to focus inside. And allow yourself to picture someone who you'd like to feel freer about. It could be someone you met in your travels here. It could be someone you met recently at home. It could be someone who's been a long-standing problem. It doesn't matter who you pick. Although if this is your first time doing this process, pick someone easy. If you've done this before, pick someone who's a challenge. Either way is okay. Now when you do this on your own, you'll go at your own pace, but I'm going to be demonstrating the pace you would do if you were doing it with a group of people. So in this moment, allow yourself to picture this person and just check. Did this person try to control you? Or did it feel that way? And if so, could you let go of wanting to control them back? Did you try to control this person? Or did you want to? And if so, could you let go of wanting to control this person? And we'll go back and forth a few times with the first two questions in the first set. Again, did this person try to control you, or did it feel that way? And if so, could you let go of wanting to control them? Did you try to control this person, or did you want to? And if so, could you let go now of wanting to control them as best you can? And let's do that one more time. We'll do both questions. Did this person try to control you, or did it feel that way? And if so, could you let go of wanting to control them? And did you try to control this person? Or did you want to? And if so, could you let go of wanting to control them? And now I'm going to build up to the completion question. I'm adding a few extra questions here just to make it easier. So, could you allow yourself, or could you allow this person to be the way they are? Just could you? Could you grant this person the right for this person to be the way they are? Just could you? Would you allow yourself to grant this person the right for this person to be the way this person is? Do you now grant this person the right for this person to be the way this person is? Remember, it's just a choice or a decision. Now, if you were doing this on your own, you would keep doing this until you got it to a yes on that last question. But we're going to move on because we're doing this with everyone. So did you dislike or disapprove of anything in this person? And if so, could you let go of withholding your approval from them? Withholding your love? Could you let that go? Did they dislike or disapprove of anything in you? And if so, could you let go of wanting their approval? Did you dislike or disapprove of anything in this person? And if so, could you let go of that dislike or disapproval? Could you let go of wanting to withhold your love, withhold your caring? And did they dislike or disapprove of anything in you? And if so, could you let go of wanting their approval? And did you dislike or disapprove of anything in them? And if so, could you let go of that dislike or disapproval as best you can? And did they dislike or disapprove of anything in you? And if so, could you let go of wanting their love or their approval? And could you allow yourself to have only love feelings for this person? Just could you? Would you allow yourself to have only love feelings for this person? Just would you? And do you have only love feelings for this person? Remember, it's just a choice. And again, if you were doing this on your own, you would keep going until you got an unequivocal yes to that last question. And did this person challenge, oppose, or threaten you, or did it feel that way? And if so, could you let go of wanting to protect yourself from them? Could you let go of wanting to be safe with them? And did you challenge, oppose, or threaten them? Or did you want to? And if so, could you let go of wanting to challenge, oppose, or threaten them as best you can? Did you challenge, oppose, or threaten this person? And if so, could you let go of wanting to do that? And did they challenge, oppose, or threaten you? Or did it feel that way? And if so, could you let go of wanting to challenge them back? Or could you let go of wanting to be safe or secure with them as best you can? And did they challenge, oppose, or threaten you, or did it feel that way? And if so, could you let go of wanting to be safe with them? And did you challenge, oppose, or threaten them? And if so, could you let go of wanting to do that? And then could you allow yourself to have only a feeling of well-being, a feeling of safety and trust with that person? Just could you? Would you allow yourself to have only a feeling of well-being, a feeling of safety and trust with this person? Do you now have only a feeling of well-being, a feeling of safety and trust with this person? Remember, it's just a choice. And did this person try to be separate from you, reject, cut off, or try to be separate from you? And if so, could you let go of wanting to be one with them? And did you reject, cut off, or try to be separate from them? And if so, could you let go of wanting to reject, cut off, or try to be separate from them? Did they reject, cut off, or try to be separate from you? Or did it feel that way? And if so, could you let go of wanting to be one with them? Did you reject, cut off, or try to be separate from them? And if so, could you let go of wanting to do that? Did you reject, cut off, or try to be separate from them? I'm doubling up. Just to make sure, I guess. And could you let go of wanting to reject them, of wanting to be separate from them? And did they reject, cut off, or try to be separate from you, or did it appear that way? And if so, could you let go of wanting to be one? And could you allow yourself to have only the feeling of I am you and you are me? There is only one with this person. Would you allow yourself to have only a feeling of I am you and you are me with this person? There is only one. Do you have only a feeling of I am you and you are me with this person? A feeling of oneness, of unity, of there is only one. Okay, good. So, as you can see, that procedure is quite powerful. And even if you couldn't get to a yes on each question, that's okay. With time, it gets easier and easier to do, and you'll get to the point where, the first time I ever led a workshop, no one told me that it was just a choice to say yes on the last question. So I did the cleanup procedure for hours a day for an entire week before I was going back to that same group to do a workshop again. So it's really helpful to know you have a choice. You can just do it. So, any questions about anything I've covered so far? Any questions at home, any? Really? Yes. You want to grab a mic?
So when you say it's a choice, you mean that if we feel that it's a no, we just have to force ourselves to...
No, it's not a forcing.
So
It's a choice. The forcing is... It's not that. You don't force yourself. We all believe that there's a huge difference between yes and no, and that if we're feeling no, that we can't change it to a yes. But let's do this all together. Everyone say yes.
yes.
No.
No.
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 Yes.
Yes.
No. Yes.
Yes.
No.
No.
yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. It's just a sound.
Yes, but what I mean is, like, what if you feel that,
Hold the mic a little closer.
what if you feel that it's not a yes, but it's not a no? It's like you're
Well,
not
that's
sure.
okay. Don't worry about it.
It will come.
Just hang out with the process. It gets clearer.
Okay.
It definitely does. Sometimes it's not an immediate yes or a no. It's kind of, that's how it is in life. Most of us don't, if we just said yes or no, we'd be fine. But most of us live life in maybe. And that's not really living. Go ahead.
So my question is, so you can say yes.
By the way, can you stand up when you, thanks.
So you can say yes or no, but what if you have this no in your body? So your mind, so you can
Yes,
choose to say
so-
yes, but your body is just resisting.
Yes, but
saying no.
who's in charge? You or your body?
Me, but at the same time, there's this density in
I
the
understand
body.
that, but see, because we identify with that density, because we think we are the body, we think it's in charge. It's not.
And we resist it, right? 'Cause it's
Yeah,
like
and we
it's
say,
dense,
oh,
and
I
then
don't
you
want to have
resist
this
it.
feeling,
Yeah,
and
you
it's
don't wanna have
bad,
this
and I'm not
feeling.
good, and all this other stuff that we do. So I'm not saying override it. I want to be clear here. I don't mean suppress. But when you're feeling anything in your body, even if it's no, you can still do this. You can still open inside. If you had to get your feelings permission to let go, you would never, ever let go. If you think you are your anger, how can you let that go? You can't. If you think you're your sadness, how could you let it go? You can't. But you can, because you aren't that. It's an experience that's coming up into awareness. And so you have a choice. And we'll explain, they'll get easier as the week goes on, but we'll go into the, tomorrow morning we'll start with the basic release, the first one you usually do with people. And I'll cover more about what to do if there's a yes, where you wanted to get to a yes, but you're getting a no. There are many things to do.
Okay.
But again, we're running out of time for tonight, so I can't get into a whole long thing about it tonight. But
Thank you.
don't worry about it. It's
I'm not
fine.
worried.
You don't look worried, I know. But it's a valid question that both of you have. But I want to be clear here. It's not an overriding. Choosing yes. If it's an overriding, you're just suppressing. But you can choose yes with this feeling inside. That's what I'm talking about. And it doesn't matter how much the mind or the body may be screaming no. You can still choose yes.
Okay.
Because you're much stronger than your body or your mind. Yes. Yeah, sure.
On your 20 CD course, you said something to the effect of you can even say no and it's still a yes. So even if you say no and you still open up inside, it's still basically yes. You're just saying no, right? Essentially.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. It's not about
or no, whatever.
yes,
either
no,
one.
yes, no. It's absolutely not about the words. It's about the inquiry. All the words that we use with releasing, whether we're releasing with someone else or they're releasing with us or we're doing it on our own, they're a pointer towards something that's natural. It's actually hard work to hold on, really hard work. So, and it's a relief when you let go. So what you'll find is that if you allow yourself to feel no when it's a no, and don't fight with it, you let yourself hold on, you let yourself feel the no, that in and of itself, is what he was referring to, will start to trigger a letting go. So when you're working with people, don't try to force them to say yes. We'll talk more about that tomorrow, and I'll explain why. So, I'm going to do a quicker version of the way to do the same procedure, but from a fifth way perspective. Now, by the way, if you're new to the fifth way and you struggle with this a little bit, those of you here and also those of you at home, don't worry about it. This whole week, we'll be exploring the fifth way, both experientially doing it with ourselves, but as you move into doing this with other people, the fifth way will become clearer and clearer for you too. So don't worry if it's not clear. And again, really the fifth way is just simply noticing the absence of separation and the presence of oneness. And all the questions that we use around that are just designed to facilitate that. So don't worry if it doesn't click right away. It will if you're open to it. Okay? Good. So you can do this with the same person or someone else. It's up to you. So did this person try to control you? Or did it appear that way? And in this moment, check to see if you can actually find the you that was just feeling controlled. Or another way of asking that, is that wanting to control personal? Is it actually connected to anything? And did you try to control this person? Or did it appear that way? And could you actually find the one who was trying to control? Yes, maybe there appeared to be that activity. But were you actually doing that? Or was it happening spontaneously? Can you actually find a controller if you don't go into memory, if you just look into your direct experience? And in this moment, could you notice that there is already a granting for this person to be as they are, and for you to be as you are as well? And then as best you can, just for now, could you notice that there is no controller and no controllee? There is only one. There is no you and no them. There's just what is. That we superimposed a story on that was not real to begin with. And did you dislike or disapprove of anything in this person? And then in this moment, check to see if you can actually find the one who dislikes or disapproves. There may be disapproval, but is there anyone doing that? Can you actually find someone who's separate from love itself? And did they dislike or disapprove of anything in you? Or did it appear that way? And if so, check to see if you can actually find the one who appears to be wanting approval. Is that wanting approval actually attached to anyone or anything? And could you allow yourself to have only love feelings for this person? And do you have only love for them? And if you dig a little deeper, can you actually find anything separate from love in this moment? Or is there just simply love, loving itself? And did this person challenge, oppose, or threaten you in any way? Or did it appear that way? And can you actually find the one who is feeling threatened in this moment if you don't go into memory? Is there actually anyone here who can be threatened? And did you challenge, oppose, or threaten them? Or did you want to? And if so, check to see if there was actually a you doing that. Or was that just an appearance? And could you allow yourself to notice that you and them are already safe? Because there is no you and no them. There is only one. And did this person reject, cut off, or try to be separate from you? Or did it appear that way? And in this moment, can you actually find a you or a them? Or is that just a projection? Appearing in or on that which is. And did they reject, cut off, or try to be separate from you? Or did it feel that way? And if so, just simply check. Is there actually a you or a them? Or are those just simply concepts being imposed on what is? And could you be open at least to the possibility that there is no you and no them? There is only one. Only one. Only one. Okay, good. So remember, if this was a stretch for you, don't worry about it. There's also more explanation of how to use the fifth way on the wands. It's in the workbook, and you might find other words that help you get more comfortable with that. And give it time to gestate within you. It will get clearer. So the assignment for tonight is to do the if you had any interactions today with anyone that there's still a residual, then pick just one person tonight before you go to sleep and do the after procedure on them. If everything is clear and clean, then just do it on someone from home who has been a problem in the past, or do it on a spouse or on a parent or on a child. Do the pre-procedure tomorrow before we start. And we'll start tomorrow morning at 10. So please be prompt. One of the things you can do is come a few minutes early and do the pre-facilitation procedure here in your seat. Or you could do it again in your seat. And the more you practice on the breaks, the more you'll get out of it. And remember, those of you participating from home, just let it fit into your schedule. It's all being recorded. And you'll be able to go through this experience over and over and over again, both on your own and as you keep inviting more people to participate with you. So that's all for tonight. We'll see you tomorrow at 10. And I'm going to spend just a few minutes talking to the people at home, so you're welcome to stay for that or not. Yes? Oh, sorry. One quick thing before we end. Does anyone need a ride? Okay, where are you going? All right, you have one. You both need rides, or you got one? You're good. What about over there? Who needs? Two of you. Where are you going? So anyone can take you to Los Abregados. It's just down the hill. All set with rides? Okay, good. So I'm just going to come to the back, and I'll see you all in the morning. Remember to leave your name tag. So those of you who are watching the free view, even if you don't decide to join us, I hope you really benefited from it. The recording of this will be available to you for the next 24 hours. But I really strongly encourage you to join us. When I said earlier, this is probably the last time I'm going to do this particular retreat, I meant it. By the way, some people came to me and said, "You're not going to stop doing retreats." And at some point, yes, but I'm not planning to imminently. But this particular retreat, because I'm empowering everyone to go out and start doing this with everyone they know, I don't, at least at this moment, don't plan to do again. So if you're at all interested in this, please join us. I'm hoping you got a sense of what this is all about from watching. And it really is an opportunity to jump in and really start to turn your life around and to do the same with the people you care about. So please join us. You'll be glad you did. And by the way, if you decide to join us, remember you can invite as many people to participate with you as you'd like. You can have a whole party of people watching the same recording together and helping each other. So hopefully you'll be part of the group as we start in the morning. So thanks for watching. Bye.
So I did an online retreat in September 2014. This was a course I wanted to do it for a very, very long time. However, this has been a very remote place to travel. So it has been very difficult to make a decision because of the travel cost, staying cost, etc. So in that case, online was a very good offer, and I
good.
took that opportunity.
So how was everything
and
from
I,
home?
I attended the course online. I woke up late, starting at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning. But I felt sitting in my room that I was actually sitting in this hall. I was feeling that I'm part of the group, and I sort of felt that I know personally each individual in the room, because I was sitting it online and I was watching the people. In addition, I could ask questions directly. So I was able to raise question on the chat. I was able to interact. Hale could actually do the releasing with me directly as well, looking in my eyes and doing a partnership exercises. So that was really great. And I had never thought about coming all this way, but even after the online course, I felt the deep desire to come and travel all this while. And within like couple of months, I took that decision and came all this while. So online course was just great, really enjoyed that.
And so I flew to Calgary, where she lived, and we basically did a retreat in her home. And we created this cocoon for the retreat, and we did our meals together, and I loved the experience, and I didn't know that I was going to love it, because I've always loved doing the retreats here with the group, and I thought it might be not as great. It might be more like just doing individual releasing. But it was really powerful, and during the times when partners are doing exercises at the retreat, Hale would speak directly to us and do the releasing with us like he was our partner. It was like getting your own special sessions with Hale. It was really great. I was so surprised. We had an incredible experience, and there was actually a huge flood in Calgary at the time, and the whole city was closed down, and we had no idea because we were in our little world doing our releasing, and it was the greatest experience. We came out, it was like, what's going on out here, So it was really wonderful. Yeah.